Okay. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody. We acknowledge the land upon which we work and live, the First Nations and their nations, and recognize their connection to the land, water, and community. We continue to learn, listen, and grow together. And if anybody's wondering, there's not a whole lot of people here, but if there's anybody online watching wondering why I'm wearing a Paris Firefighters jersey, we had a charity hockey game on Saturday night for a local former firefighter here, and it was an amazing success. The arena in Plattsville was absolutely full, so I put a little challenge out to we played the Paris Fire Department. I put a little challenge out to their mayor, and we decided to swap jerseys to the losing team, and so it was 5-5 after the end of 3 periods. And before it went into shootout, we decided that we would wear a jersey at both councils, here and there. I figured that's a good way we can at least both wear it. And I'm happy to say that we won in a shootout. If I'd have known that before, maybe I wouldn't have made that offer. But it worked out really good, and they're going to be wearing ours at their council meeting. I believe it's next Wednesday, so worked out really good. So in saying that, if we can have approval of the agenda, please.
Be it hereby resolved that the agenda for the April 2nd, 2025 regular meeting of council be adopted as printed and circulated. Okay,
can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Young, second by Councillor Demarest. All in favor? And opposed if any, and that's carried. Okay, any disclosure or peculiar interests? Not seeing any. And minutes from March 19th and 25th.
Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the March 19th and March 25th, 2025 meetings of council be adopted as printed and circulated. Okay,
can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Banbury, second by Councillor Barnes. Barnes, sorry. I thought I pronounced that wrong. Any comments on that? All in favor? Opposed if any, and that's carried. Any business arising from the minutes? Nope. We have no public meeting, no delegations. Here, and general correspondence. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that the general correspondence item be received as information.
Okay, can I move her in a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Demarest, second by Councillor Banbury. Any discussion on that at all? I'll just make a couple quick comments. It was another one of our meetings that we had. Went over really well. I did ask if we could get some of the information from our speed feedback signs. He did mention that he does get it, and I said it'd be nice if we could get some sort of share on it on what the speeds are going to be, where people are speeding with our speed feedback, and hopefully get some presence there, because that's why we wanted them, was more for the feedback, and then we could have an OPP officer sitting at that specific point where somebody is speeding every day at the same time, hopefully. So I did ask for that. I think that's kind of the main things that come out of that meeting. So anything else from anybody? All in favor? And opposed if any, and that's carried. Okay, and staff reports. Director of Community Service, Trevor, please. Welcome, Trevor.
I'm just here to do the Community Services monthly report for March. The 2 staffing positions at the Plattsville Arena were posted in the middle of March. Staff completed interviews last week. And we're going through the process of elimination and picking 2 candidates for the job. So,
okay.
The 50th anniversary, the Princeton Heritage Society is planning an event on May the 10th. From 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. This will incorporate celebrating the township's 50th anniversary. They are going to do free perennial plant giveaways, snacks, refreshments, and we will put it on social media once they get us the flyers, and they will promote it through the townships. The other 2 groups are still in the process of getting us some more information about dates and stuff. It's looking like Canada Day for Drumbo and something in August at the Chesterfield Museum. So. All right. In March, the arena hosted the Little Brave tournament. Seen 26 teams. The ice is going to be pulled on April the 6th. And had a lot of free public skates 2 extra free public skates over March break. They were well attended, and we had the Palazzo Figure Skating Show on Sunday, and Mark talked about the fireman game on Saturday night. So it's been a busy year end and getting everything out of the way. So yeah, other than that, we've just been busy in the arena trying to get things done for the season, and the ice will be removed on Sunday, this Sunday.
Okay. All right. Any questions on the report? No? I'd say any. Pretty soon it'll be ball season.
Yep.
Okay, we have a resolution.
Be it hereby resolved that report CS 2503 be received as information.
Okay, mover to seconder. Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Banbury. Any comments? All in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried. Thank you, Trevor. Okay, and next is our Director of Public Works, Jim Borton, please. Welcome, Jim.
Afternoon, Council. My first report is the road improvement criteria. At a previous meeting, Council had asked for this report to come to Council to give a little bit more direction on the decision-making that goes into converting a gravel road to a hard surface road. The township currently has 130 kilometers of hard surface roads, 200 kilometers of gravel roads. In our annual budget, we spend on gravel roads approximately $315,000 for new gravel and $260,000 for dust control every year, as well as we are in our 10-year capital converting approximately 3 kilometers a year at a $250,000 cost. In order to determine what roads should be converted, we have 6 key points that we look at. The first, obviously, is our traffic data. Through the MMS, this needs to be done every 5 years. So although the information that I did provide you is dated, we are scheduled to redo our traffic counts. So it's not they've done once, they are regularly looked at. Connectivity to another road, whether it's a settlement area, a rural cluster, if there's any commercial, industrial on that road, how it connects to a paved road, and a point system is given for all those different points. The number of households, again, the road section receives a higher point total if there are more houses on that particular road section. Readiness of the road, so that is the base, whether we need to do base improvement, culvert work. We do have some roads that run through swamp areas, so we need to look at that. Obviously, they would score much lower than some of the other roads. And then we have proximity to a paved road. So if you're within a certain kilometer range, if you're 1 concession over, kilometer away, something like that, to get from a gravel road to a paved road, you scored less. If it was a longer distance, you received more points. And then the sixth item is the equipment routing efficiency. So this is for our winter maintenance. Obviously, we try and keep the trucks within certain areas. We have 5 different routes that they run. They usually try and stay in that route. We don't want them driving with the plows up, not putting material down long distances to get to roads that just takes more time. So if it's a positive impact, means just maybe right on the edge of an existing route, they score higher. If it's a negative impact, if we have to send them further away, then obviously their scores are less. On one of the attachments that was sent with the report, it does give you a list of all the township roads. Sorry, I just grabbed a couple maps.
show you the same thing. It's got there. There we go.
So you'll see the very first one there that is scheduled to be done in 2026, the BA 11. So that is Blandford Road from Oxford Road 8 to Township Road 12. And then we have the third, which is from Blandford Road to 22. The 11th from Blenheim Road to Trussler. The 12th from Blenheim Road to Trussler. The 4th, Gobles Road to the 3rd. The 3rd again from 22 to Gobles. The 4th from 22 to Gobles. The 5th, Gobles to the 3rd, Oxford Road 3. And then the 5th, Blandford Road to 22. So you'll see their point totals for each column. It gives you your, the AADT is your average annual traffic. The rating for their traffic volumes, connectivity, and so on, and gives you at the very end, gives you a point total. Now you will see they're not exactly in order from highest to lowest, noting that the one next year, Blandford Road, that was a political decision. There was a delegation by the church on the corner of Blandford Road and the 12th that came many councils ago and kept pushing and was put on the 10-year capital, and that's why their number is lower. So you'll see, I know the ones that kind of started this were Township Road 12. If you follow down that list, about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see a cream color where I have it. Those two roads do rank fairly low. Now their traffic count right now is lower. The correspondence that we received said some new businesses on there, so they're expecting higher. So that may change when we do our counts this year. It will bring them up a little bit. I don't see them bringing up a whole lot, but this is kind of the general idea on what we look at on what roads need to be converted. Obviously, council does have the final decision on that. We do, but this is kind of how we make our plan to put it in the 10-year capital plan.
So the number one total would be that's the 4th concession to Gobles, 22 to Gobles? Is that by points wise? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're looking at, there's 3 others that are the 5th and then the other 4th, right? Is that? Yes. So it looks like the 4th and 5th are our 2 number ones
Yes.
in the total? Okay. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, this is good.
Yep, sorry.
Maybe it doesn't matter, but does it come into play, or does it, I guess I have a few questions. With large, like farming equipment, is that more difficult to maintain on the hard surface roads or on the gravel roads? Does it matter? Is there a larger impact on one versus the other with those large equipment?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. The heavier the equipment, a hard surface treated road is meant to be a low volume road. Cars, small trucks. As soon as you get into the heavier equipment, your large traffic, they do more damage on a surface treatment road. If we want to get looking into a higher volume road for farm equipment, so you'd be looking at a better base, usually asphalt, a thicker, you'd almost want to go to a more of a commercial industrial standard where the cost is obviously that much more. By keeping it a gravel road, yes, we may have to do a little bit more grading, a little bit more maintenance on it, but that easily done compared to everything else.
So it's more practical to keep those roads as the gravel roads in where those large farm.
Yes.
I think you're probably talking about every road then.
Yeah.
Pretty near. Because they, one way or the other, they're going down there, whether they go down one road and turn up and go around the next. Yeah. So, and it's a lot more to do pavement, right?
Yes. We would be looking where we have approximately 250,000 to do some base and asphalt. You'd be closer to 400.
Yeah. So are we with not doing that other end down there where Wilmot decided not to do and we approved it in our budget, are we looking at doing more this year because of that?
So since the last report,
Yes.
I have submitted the surface treatment, and at the very last minute, Wilmot has joined and has that piece that we thought that they weren't doing as being done. So I will have results at our next council meeting. That closes next week. So we can look at that and review that at the next council when I have the results.
Maybe they are watching our meetings. Okay, that's good. So are you looking for us to give you any kind of direction on what roads you want to do next, or is
I
this
think
just
at this
for
time-
information only?
I have on here for future capital road improvements.
Yeah.
So if there's something that you would like to see changed in the way that we're deciding on how those roads are decided, if you're happy with the matrix that we are currently using, then it can just be passed as information.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the, sorry, I just want to ask a question. What is the kilometer distance, say, from 3 to Gobles and over? Is that be
That's 3.65.
on each one? So we would roughly do one section a year is what you're saying?
Correct.
Across, okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Anything else from council? Nope. So I guess realistically, this will be coming back at budget to decide where we want to go.
Yes.
Okay, nothing from council? All right.
Be it hereby resolved that report PW 2504 be received as information.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Young, second by Councillor Barnes. Any comments? Okay, all in favor? And opposed, if any, and that's carried. And your monthly report.
So this is my monthly report for March. The Princeton Pond expansion, the pond is pretty much finished. They've been just working on the head wall and some piping where the phase 4 construction will tie in. We do have our pre-construction meeting with Cassidy Construction coming up tomorrow. This will help us determine when they will be looking to start. We will be reviewing, obviously, the concerns for emergency services for the businesses that are downtown. We realize that Main Street is going to be a hot topic with it being closed. So it will take a lot of communication, both from the contractor, from the township, to make sure that the residents are informed on as much as what's happening down there as possible. So that will be starting coming up. Bridge 24, we have acquired a new archaeological. We do have to wait for the weather to be nice. There can't be any frost in the ground. The river needs to be back at normal flows before they can redo the dig, but they're expecting to get on that as soon as they can. Bridge 38, so this is the bridge on Township Road 5. This was approved for deck repair in the fall of 2024. The pre-construction signs have gone up. They're hoping to start April 14th on this. So Township Road 5 will be closed temporarily for approximately 6 to 8 weeks while that work gets completed. We've been looking, reaching out to the CAT and John Deere for new grader pricing. Hall Engineering, they have been Successful for the bridge survey. We got 3 quotes for that, and they were the cheapest. So they'll be looking at the bridge on Blenheim Road this year for construction next year. And as previously mentioned, our surface tender treatment closes April 9th, so I will have results at the next meeting. Our shared services meeting, we had a presentation from OnTrack. They do a computer program to help staff and workers for their hours of service, for their tracking. Because we are a registered commercial vehicle user, our staff are mandated to keep track of their hours. We use a 70 hours in 7 days cycle. Currently we track it by paper. Gets very cumbersome. Guys forget, doesn't get filled out. So we are looking at this. As from the service sharing standpoint, we're actually looking to see if we can get a group pricing rather than individual pricing to try and see if we can't get that a little bit cheaper. Our road association, we met. We meet 3 times a year. We just had a meeting. We had a presentation by Biodiversity. They have a natural product that is being tested right now to stabilize road bases. So if you have gravel road that doesn't have a sustainable base, or for whatever reason, they're looking at it could be a more cost-effective way than dig it up, add a whole bunch of heavier stone. What this is, you basically reclaim down about 2.5 to 3 feet, add in this liquid. It's flexible, so it doesn't completely go hard, so it's almost a self-healing. Mix it in with the gravel, the fines attached to the chemical. It's a plant-based chemical, and it gives it a strong, good base. It is very new on the market. There was a test. Wellington County has done 3 kilometers with it last year. So far, they've seen good results, but I am in talks with them. They're interested in possibly a kilometer in the township that they can do this on. So I should have more information about that as well in the coming weeks. AORs, we met at the Good Roads Conference. At our AGM, I was introduced as the new 2nd Vice President. And of course, we have the trade show coming up very quickly in June in Woodstock. Drainage, Adam's been working on keeping up, make sure our documentation is up to date, and any calls now that we are getting, now that the snow is gone and the frost is coming out, as far as repairs, he's gone out and looked at a few, and they've been making a schedule to get those repaired. As well as staff, March started out very snowy, and we've had some really good weather. We have had the graders out at times. There is still some frost in the ground. We are still seeing some frost boils come up, but the rain and hopefully this nasty weather that we got today will be the end of it. Any questions?
Okay, any questions from council? Go ahead, Councillor
Through you,
Bamber.
Mr. Mayor, with regard to the project in Princeton, and I know the weather would be an impact on this, but when you learn roughly what time they want to start this project, would you be able to let the council know, so if we have any inquiries?
Yeah, for sure.
But, it is obviously contingent on the weather, so.
Yeah, I know we don't want them starting before April 15th. April 15th is when our half load comes off, so we don't want the heavy equipment and that driving on the roads until, it's not fair for us to say, for them to do that and not anybody else, so it won't be until the 15th will be at least that time. But as we can get a more concrete date, I can certainly let council know.
Just one other thing while I've got you here. I had a resident phone up about the sod at the corner of the Roper Street there, and that's really a county issue, I guess, but.
It's still part of our project, and it's still part of the warranty work that will get done for previous year's contract, so that will get fixed.
Yeah,
Somebody tried to make a detour.
yeah, maybe. It was funny because on the west side, just near our barn there, right on the very corner, there were maybe 3 pieces of sod that got, somebody must have taken it upon themselves to put it back in place. But there's quite a bit on the other side that's
Yes.
kind of a mess, so,
Okay, anything else? Sorry, Bruce.
no, that's it.
Okay, anything else from council? Okay, I have 3 things, just while you were talking.
Yep.
With the large dirt piles that are already there in Princeton.
Yes.
Where are we gonna put, like, is there gonna be room for all the dirt this year?
Yes. So with this year's dirt, because we're further south, we're not actually going as deep, so there won't be the magnitude that we've had seen the last 2 years. About half of that excess fill will be going to the fire station site to bring that up. And then the other, pretty much the majority of it will be going to Township Road 12 between Blenheim Road and Trustler. If you know that road, it comes down into the swamp area. We'll be building up that. It's about a kilometer stretch, the same as we did King Road last year. So we don't foresee adding to those piles this year. We have a home for the majority of it. That'll be coming out this year.
Are we gonna, the only reason I'm asking that, I'm just thinking, once we get it all done, I hate to see us take 2,000 loads of dirt over our brand-new roads and pack them even more, so.
Yep.
Okay, that's the one thing. And the other two, I'm maybe speak for Trevor, but I know there'd be a lot of ball tournaments in Princeton, and maybe we need to make sure we coordinate through that way. I'm sure you've already talked about that as well. With the Cat and the John Deere, when we do these proposals now, if tariffs come on today, it's supposed to be announced, should we be adding to that? I know maybe an unfair disadvantage if it's coming across the border, but should we not have included in our costing that tariff? Because that may change if something's, I don't know if there's anything made in Canada, but if there is something in Canada coming, it may equal that playing field on some of those. I just wondered if that tariff was going to be included.
So
I know you're,
it was a very hot topic at Good Roads.
Yeah.
And I've spoken with the dealers when I've talked to them about that. Both tell me that they have either vehicles that have already been transferred to Canada, so we shouldn't have to worry about that because they're already here, so they can't put tariffs on them.
right.
And they seem to think that although he's targeting the auto sector, they're not part of it. There's some other treaty or whatever in their agreement. So unless, again, it's changing daily, but that will be, if there is something like that, I have asked them to make sure that when we do get our final pricing, that is in there, so we know whether we want to decide or not.
Okay.
Because obviously that could be rather large and determine whether we
absolutely.
move forward or not.
Could be a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Councilor Pember.
Yeah, just along the same line, a lot of farm equipment now is coming in from Europe, or has been over the last number of years. And it's really top quality, but it's probably a little bit more expensive, I don't know. In the way of construction equipment or road equipment, that kind of type of equipment, is there much of a source in Europe to import, or it'd be too costly?
Not right now. For the grader aspect, there seems to be more a push, very similar to the communal that we brought in, loaders, farm equipment. The construction equipment for graders seems to be the two still, the Cat and the John Deere. There's not really Volvo was involved in a little bit, and they've even ended their grader line.
What about JCB? They're British, aren't they, or?
So they're partnered with Strongco, which is the Volvo end of it.
Oh, okay.
And as I said, they don't have their grader line anymore. They've kind of got out of that.
Okey-doke.
And just the last thing, I don't know if you saw the email came today from about the retaining wall, the people, okay.
Yes.
I'll let you respond to that, because I know you had
Yep.
found somebody to do that
Yeah,
work.
so we do have a contractor
Yep.
for that. I will respond to their email. They were hoping to start in the fall, obviously with the winter
Yep.
coming as strong as it did when it started. They never got that chance, but I have received confirmation that they will be here
Okay.
once the weather allows them to be.
All right, I'll let you respond to that one.
Yep.
Okay, and I think that's it for me. Anything else from council? Nope. Go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that report PW 2505 be received as information.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Banbury. Any comments? All in favor? And opposed, if any? And that's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next staff report is Drew Davidson, our Director of Protective Services. Welcome, Drew.
Thank you, Council. Mr. Mayor. I'm here this afternoon to present a report on the Princeton Fire Station and the progress that were made, and seeking approval to complete the documentation for the RFP process that we are hoping to release in July, with construction starting in September. So if you remember, last year we appointed Nelson Dolly as the engineer of this project, and staff has been working very closely with him to come up with the design that we have here to present today. He has also been part of the stations at the Mitchell and Milverton, and staff, along with the CAO and our district chief Cadwell, went there and toured those stations to get an idea. You've heard me talk about the clean side, the apparatus bay, and the dirty side, and it's the exact model of what was built up there, so we know what we're looking at. So we can get the health and safety and the cancer prevention and functionality of the hall dialed in there. If you remember back at deliberation time for budget, it was discussed on how we could go about this project, and with the assistance from our Director of Finance, we were able to look at a phased-in approach starting in 2025 and finishing in 2026. As I say, we have put hours in here looking at everything and making sure that we didn't limit ourselves to just the current year or next 5 years, and that we have opportunity for expansion in the future as well. As you look at the site plan, you'll see the large driveway to accommodate responding firefighters and the apparatus responding, as well as a smaller one for day-to-day operations that we can use out there. We took into consideration even the location of the flagpole and the digital signs, so that the location on the was away from the current home was there, and we didn't have any reflection or anything affecting them. And as well as we move around the building, we have the drive-through, which is a big safety improvement for everyone involved. As well as we have a automatic generator system that's built into this station as well. In the Princeton area, if we had an ice storm power outage, we don't have the capability of any of our buildings right now with backup power. We don't have a warming center anywhere except when we come to this building or the Jumbo station. So we can use this station as a warming center or a shelter in case of emergency for anybody in Princeton as well. So that's another benefit of this one here. If you were to look at the site plan and you kind of looked at the back section where the tile beds are, because we don't have sewer hookups there, we were working hard to take everything to the one corner as far as stormwater runoff. The tile beds, we're going to keep them as tight as possible within regulations. Leaving a green space up at the top corner there for any future expansion that may come down the road. Whether we're here or somebody else, we want to leave them some green space for that opportunity there. As we move around, we can enter the gear room right from the parking lot. It will be self-contained, same as Plattsville, same as Drumbo now. So we'll have our third one where the gear is out of the apparatus bay, and has its own ventilation system, so that's been taken into effect. As well as the washing and drying areas, which is important because we don't have a second set of gear for all our firefighters. This way they can wash and dry right on site after they come back from a call and put it back in service. We do have the third bay included in this proposal due to the fact that Princeton does have the side-by-side to have in there. We have the camp trailer, the roof prop trailer. These things sit outside right now. And again, it allows for any future expansion. You have that bay there as well. And still allowing for training to happen in the apparatus bay behind the trucks that are in there. One of the biggest benefits too is on the clean side is the training room. Right now, it's very hard to get 20 firefighters in the training room. This will allow not only for Princeton to have meetings there, but as well as RIFSOC or any RTC ones. Right now, every time we hold a course, everyone is going to Plattsville. So this way we can hold different functions at the station there. We have provided some pictures, because everyone likes pictures, I hope. And if you're able to look at that, photo number 4, which is the Oro Bandante Station 1, is the one that resembles what this building is that we're proposing here. The other 3 have a jet out of some description or a fancy window up above. We're not using that. So number 4, it's got your office on one side and the 3 bays showing on the front. We have based this project on using kind of this color scheme out of photo number 3. We're not set on that, but that's kind of what we're looking at, with a bit of a darker gray and a red trim around that. We thought that was the kind of looked nice, but it wasn't too flashy at the same time.
I was going to ask you, because that's the one I like too as well.
Well, that's if we want to continue looking at the outside, the one thing that the wording that's above there, I know we're starting to critique it a little bit, but if we looked at the 3D design that was offered before, where it says Blandford-Blenheim Princeton Station, that's currently what's on the other stations right now, is Blandford like that. So that's why that model is there. You'll notice there's an option on these colored designs here for something over the office entrance there. Staff would like to put Station 81 there and kind of start that model moving towards still having the station identified above the main doors, but Station 81 above the office doors leading up to Camp 85 type idea. So those are kind of the design aspects that we're looking at. It does include the masonry around the total perimeter of the building on the first level around there. That's each of these stations has that. That's where his proposal comes from. We had talked briefly about making the front appear a little bit more than just some tin. So there is some options when we get to the financial implications here of just different options that we could look at. We wanted to include that in our proposal as well. Looking at the financial implications there, Nelson Dolly has included his final estimates, which is right in line with what we had talked about at budget time. There is the cost savings where we could look at the masonry around the entire building. That's what's included right now. We could look at just around the front and one side, keeping in mind that this building can be seen from all 4 directions when in the village. So we could see it from the rear of the building too, if any consequence to council and kind of their direction on that front. Kind of wrapping things up here as we go through here, and I'm sure there's some questions at the at the end here. Just some of the items that have been worked on to this point. As you know, VUCON extended the water line up there, so the water main is at the lot line right now. We have had talks with Enbridge about bringing the gas line up the road, and their number is not too bad, and that's only that's if it was just us. They haven't approached the other landowners yet. That could offset some more of that cost, so we're still in discussions on that front. We've looked at the communications, what we would be required for that, as well as Oxford County for the data installation. And every time I reach out to one of these companies, they're like, well, thanks for reaching out to us now and not when you're ready to finish it off and trying to run some wires now. So being proactive has really helped the situation here, just in their initial talks with everybody. So just wrapping it up here, the investment here is not only for the firefighters, but their safety, response elements, but I do think it will enhance the community as a whole as well. So that said, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so questions from council? Councillor Banbury?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. A few years ago, I investigated having a gas line put up, Roper Street all the way up to Horner's Creek, because there's a gas line that comes down from Gobles Road as far as Horner's Creek. And it sort of went by the wayside because the pandemic came along, one thing or another. But the people that I was in contact with, they indicated that, like, the gas for Princeton comes across from what used to be Cargill's there. Well, on the second of Burford, to feed Princeton. It was Van Wees that actually got that put in years ago. Anyway, they indicated that there wasn't enough gas to support going up all the way up. But I'm thinking that subdivision, which probably will be going in to the house property eventually, they're probably going to want gas. So I don't know. I would suggest maybe just doing a little investigation into the availability or if they can maintain enough pressure with the size of line they've got there to. I know, I guess Sedum Master, they're bringing their line down through the swamp, but I don't know whether they can, if somehow there could be a larger line put in and then feed that down through or whatever. I just look into that, because when I was looking into it, they were a little skeptical as to whether there was enough adequate gas or pressure, I guess, to service that additional. There would have been maybe 10 or 11 places that could have hooked up to gas. I'm not advocating necessarily to do that, but that's one concern I have.
Yeah. And I could only speak on what Enbridge has come back to us with, and their initial studies indicate that that it is possible, and they asked what type of items we would be hooking up to, the generator, the furnaces, that type of idea, and they've come back and saying this is at a high level, this is the approximate cost, and we could dig into it deeper going forward. But at this point, I haven't heard a concern from Enbridge along those lines.
Well, I'm pretty sure whenever those houses do get built there, they're probably going to want to hook up to gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you want direction from us on the masonry? Is that
Yes.
your
that'd
thing?
be yes.
So just so we're clear, so masonry around the whole building, everything is included in the price. Masonry across the front would just be where the bays are and not the office, Jess. Oh, that would save 70,000?
That's correct.
And then if we do all across the front and the office, it would, and not the outside, the back, the three other sides, it would save us 40.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's Councillor Demers?
What if we do no masonry? What would
I
be
don't
the
know.
savings if we did no masonry?
That I did not include, I didn't ask that. I was going on the direction that the mayor had asked that we
Yep.
jazz it up a little bit at the front.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I
Councillor
guess
Barry?
it's the same old thing. You only build it once, I guess.
This is true.
I mean, maybe you could add it later on, but I don't think that's too feasible.
The only benefit to doing it around the perimeter as suggested is if it gets, somebody runs into it or, or kicks it or whatever. I know in Plattsville, it looks like some people have gone over and played hockey, and as soon as you get that mark on the tin, you're left with the mark on the tin. But I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying that's just something to consider.
Being a little facetious about burn easy either.
I know personally for me, I want to see at least all the front done, like across the office and that thing. I always say I know they're a fire hall and they suit their purpose, but I personally like to see it. I wish we'd have dressed up our other ones just a little bit, not, we didn't have to, there's some other places that are pretty Taj Mahal-ish. We won't mention names, but I would like to see it a little bit dressed up. I wish we'd have maybe done a little bit of that with some of the others as well, but that's my opinion. I would like to at least do the front and the offices as well. If council decides to not do the other three sides, that's up to them, but that's what I would like to see at a minimum. So, yep.
And I
go
think
ahead.
that throughout our review with the contracted engineer, we did find that at least some component of masonry on the facade, like some facades seems to be the most common design. I mean,
Yeah.
all of the models that we had looked at that had been built sort of in the last 10 years had some element of brickwork, whether it surrounded the entire building. Not to say that we couldn't, seek a revised quote that only includes that tin siding, but that was kind of our understanding and takeaway
Yeah.
was that seemed to be sort of par for the course with most of the new station builds these days.
Just out of curiosity, the ones that you visit, were they around the whole building, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of his designs show that around the whole building.
Okay.
Yep.
I would personally like to see it at least across the front and the two sides. The south side, I can go either way on that. I don't mind if it's put across the back, but because you can actually see coming down the road from both directions, it's quite highly visible.
So because I think our director is looking for direction. So what's council's thought?
I would kind of like to at least see it on the front, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm with Bruce.
Yeah.
I like the three sides. Was that an option here?
No,
I don't think.
it wouldn't be a
Incorporate-
huge,
Whatever you'd like to see, we can incorporate into the final design type idea, and we can come back with that.
you might be talking 10 grand.
We're
or
talking
something
10
like
to,
that.
yeah, we're.
10, 15, it's not a big deal
It's not a-
for the other side.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I may, I think we are seeking direction here from council on that aesthetic part of it, but maybe more importantly as well, this is sort of the final design, the design plan that's going to go to tender. So again, we're just looking for council's confirmation. I mean, they've approved the budget aspect of it. We understand generally what type of cost is coming down the pipe. But I think, in this case, we're just looking for sort of that additional nod that, it's getting pretty real here. We're going to go to tender, just looking for that final confirmation that this is a design that's acceptable and, as it says there, just that staff receive that direction to proceed to the final preparation of those tender documents. And then, the next step in the process would be Drew sort of coming, or the fire chief rather, coming to council with those tender results and then looking for your final approval on awarding that project and us proceeding to get shovels in the ground. So,
On that note, just and this is a small thing. Off the meeting room, does it make sense to have a door from the meeting room into the bay area?
So we don't have a door there for the sole purpose that when you're in the apparatus bay, you normally have your bunker gear on, your PPE.
Right.
And we want to keep it clean, so we don't want to let somebody open the door and walk into the training room.
Okay,
So they
I was
fit-
thinking of the reverse flow, that if you've got people in the training room, a bunch of people in the training room, do you want them, walking all the, to the, up to the other end of the building and maybe interrupting, the office area? Yeah, just
Yeah.
another access point seems like there's only one access point along that wall, right? Oh, except for the top there.
You can come in
Anyway,
from the
whatever.
outside, or you can come, yeah. It was just to create that break of clean side, dirty side type idea.
Yeah.
It's clean, but,
You put a sign on the door, but anyway.
we can, yeah, we can,
No
yeah, I
entrance.
can make a note of that, absolutely.
Yeah, it seems a little more practical to have
Sure.
a door there.
Yeah.
So what's council's thought? So I know Daryl and I have both said at least the front. I'm okay with the whole thing or whatever, but at least the front. And I know you
I'm
two
in
talked
favor of
about.
At least three sides.
At least
so-
3 sides,
but
so.
if-
I think if we're going to go to 3 sides, if we're going to 3 sides, the difference is,
Go all the way.
it's probably not worth doing, saving for that little bit you'd save when you think about it, but.
And the rear of the building can be seen from the apartments that are over on Cowan Street as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's directly across there, so,
Seniors complex.
yeah, I don't call it that.
Is it not in vogue anymore to be a senior?
Anybody can live there, Bruce.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
It's geared towards low income.
Geared to income is what it is,
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, same.
Well, that's good.
Same thing next door to me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
I still call it a senior complex next to me as well, Bruce, so. Okay, so what's council's thought?
Well, you can put me down, I guess, for 4 sides.
Okay, what's council over here think?
No sense doing 3 sides, is there?
No, to me, if we're going to do 3, we're going to do 4. That's my thoughts, but,
I'll go with them.
all right. That makes,
You can vote.
that makes it easy then. If you got 3 that want to do it, that's,
I didn't understand that.
Yes. And it reads my mind now. Sorry about that. It's not right. Stop reading my mind.
I had something pop up mine too, and I'm like this, trying to get rid of it up here. I don't know what it was on here.
Really weird.
Okay, then I think we have, go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that report FC 2505 be received as information, and further, that council directs staff to proceed with final preparation of tender documents for construction of the Princeton Fire Station to be released in the beginning of July, it being noted that construction would begin September 2025.
Okay. And that gives you the direction that to do whatever. Okay. Mover to second, please. Moved by Councillor Banbury, second by Councillor Young. Any comments? No? All in favor? And opposed? Okay, and that's carried. All right. Thank you very much, Drew. Okay, and our next is Sarah, our clerk, our flag policy.
Good afternoon, members of council and Mr. Mayor. The first report from me that you have before you is regarding the flag policy review, report number DC 2502. This is essentially just a housekeeping report to change the policy to take into consideration the duration of raising flags on the community flagpole. To increase efficiency, staff are recommending to change the duration of flying of flags on the community flagpole from a 1-month maximum to a 1-week maximum unless the cause or initiative requires a longer period. Staff are also recommending to adjust the policy to provide better clarification on half-masting practices. When we do half-mast, the township has a total of 14 flagpoles, which staff are traveling past each flagpole in order to do the appropriate ones, to half-mast at the appropriate poles. So staff are proposing to include wording to express that all corporate flags will be flown at half-mast in an approved period of mourning. There's just these 2 small adjustments to the policy. The verbiage was included, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions from council? No? I think the 1 week is, that's become a little more common right across the county. I think a lot of them adjusted to 1 week proposals, so. Okay, nothing? Mover and a seconder, please.
Oh, I didn't read the
Oh,
resolution.
sorry. Yep.
Be it hereby resolved that report DC 2502 be received as information, and further that the revised flag protocol policy for the Township of Blandford-Blenheim be adopted.
Okay, now can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Barnes, second by Councillor Young. Any comments? All in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried. And your next report.
The second report is the annual accessibility plan status report. As per the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act enacted in 2005, 10 years ago, the municipality is required to prepare a multi-year accessibility plan, and that plan is required to be reviewed at least once every 5 years, and annual status report reported on as well. So this report is in pursuit of meeting that statutory requirement of the annual status report. So the 2024 annual status report provides an overview of the township's commitment to accessibility, showcasing improvements made throughout the township. It features a list of completed capital projects, such as the installation of benches in the village of Drumbo, Plattsville Park Playground accessible surface, and additional accessible play features, the hard surfacing of a stormwater management pond trail in Plattsville, the north section of the Village of Princeton road reconstruction, including accessible sidewalks, an accessible pathway leading to the multipurpose pad in Princeton Park, the surfacing of the township parking lot, as well as snow removal on the sidewalks in all 4 villages of the township. The status report also features a list of ongoing projects, such as the installation of electric vehicle chargers throughout the township, Princeton Park Playground accessible surface, and additional accessible play features, and programming partnerships with community groups using the accessible township facilities. So in accordance with AODA, this accessibility report as attached to the, as an appendix, will be made available on to the public on the township's corporate website. If there's any questions regarding the report, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, any questions on the report? No? It was a good report. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that report DC 2503 be received as information.
Okay, can I move for a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Young. Any comments?
I just wanted to say, it's nice to see there's so many things happening in our township, and I'm sure that we'll keep moving along with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's lots of good things in that report.
Yep, really, really good. Councillor Demers.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. My understanding is that there's a lot of municipalities that are actually behind, and are far behind on coming into
Yeah.
compliance. So I'm glad we're pushing forward and we're putting the resources forward to get this stuff done.
Yeah, yeah, especially our parks and stuff like that, it's good to see. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Banbury, second by Councillor Barnes. Any comments? All in favor? Or we already did that, didn't we? Sorry.
All in favor?
We already did it. Yeah, I looked, just saw it there. Okay, all in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried. Thank you. Okay, and your last report.
Final report before you is report DC 2504 regarding voting methods for the 2026 municipal election. It is coming up on that time already. Staff are looking for direction regarding the implementation of a voting method for the election to be held on Monday, October 26, 2026. So the decision regarding vote counting equipment and alternative voting methods must actually just be made by May 1st in the year of the election, and with the clerk establishing procedures and forms for the use of any voting and vote counting equipment authorized by bylaw by June 1st in the election year. However, due to procurement requirements, we are asking for some direction now, seeking council's guidance. We've presented before you 4 options: traditional paper ballot method, vote by mail method, vote by internet and telephone method, or hybrid method. I'll just quickly overview each one. Option 1, the traditional paper ballot, is the most familiar method to Blandford-Blenheim municipal elections, this being the method in which we've run all of our previous elections. It requires the voters to attend the polling station during advanced voting period or on election day. A vote tabulator must be on site to count the final numbers, and at the close of the polls, a report is printed from each tabulator and delivered to the main headquarters to find the final count. Option number 2 is vote by mail, whereby all voters would receive a ballot package with instructions and envelopes. The ballot package must be completed and either returned by mail or dropped to the designated location before an election deadline. On election day, officials would process and count mail-in ballots. Option number 3 is vote by internet and telephone, which would be a process whereby voters would securely log into an online platform to access, mark, and cast their ballot. Telephone voting would allow a voter to call into a platform to make selections using an automated voice system. It would require the voter to have a smart device such as a cell phone, tablet, or computer, or to have a telephone to cast their vote in this option. Option number 4 is a hybrid, which would be a combination of paper ballots and internet voting. This approach would essentially result in the preparation and conduction of 2 elections at the same time, with 2 sets of policies and procedures, more staff resources, and I would assume higher costs. So under discussion, there are several principles of the Municipal Elections Act that must be considered when selecting methods of voting for the election. Quick highlight is that secrecy and confidentiality of the individual votes is paramount. The election should be fair and unbiased, and the election should be accessible to voters, and we need to uphold the integrity of the process. In a post-election survey conducted by the Association of Clerks, Treasurers of Ontario in late 2022 after the last election, internet voting has emerged as the preferred method of conducting an election, with 58% of municipal respondents using internet voting for their 2022 municipal and school board elections. Locally, we see that Tillsonburg, the townships of Eastshore, Tavistock, Southwest Oxford, and Zora all voted online in 2022, and to my knowledge, plan to do so in 2026. I do want to touch on voter turnout, noting that internet voting and higher voter turnout has not been definitively established. However, internet voting may offer a potential for engaging younger voters while providing convenient, efficient, and accessible method for individuals to take part in the process. As such, staff are recommending to go with internet and telephone voting. I'll just go over the advantages quickly. Accessibility for secrecy and autonomy for voters. Convenience, voters can cast their vote 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world during the open election period. Accuracy of the vote count, the system prevents overvoting, warns for undervoting, doesn't allow any marking in an unclear way, and there's no risk of spoiled ballots or an unclear voter intent. There's also no human error component. Resources, staff, and supply needs are minimal with internet and telephone voting. Environmental considerations. It reduces the amount of paper as well as reduces the amount of need for travel. Possible drawbacks are access. Not all voters will have access to a computer or high-speed internet. A solution we're offering with that is to have help centers throughout the township on specified days, as well as reliability and security is a drawback. The online voting systems may be vulnerable to technical failures or security breaches. A solution is that risks are mitigated with comprehensive security controls. I don't have all the technical information on that, but if council was interested and didn't want to make a decision today, the vendors of internet and telephone voting have offered to appear at council as a delegation to answer any questions that council may have. Another possible drawback is public education. Internet voting would require more of a voter education component on our part. Not only would the voter notification letter come out explaining everything, but we'd want to run a media campaign that explains our change and informs of the change. Fraud or coercion is another possible drawback. There is a unique PIN that comes out on the voter information letter. The solution to me not stealing Councillor Young's PIN would be that I don't know her birth date. So there's a multi-factor authentication piece to the vote. Another possibility is wrong address through the voter information letter, going to a wrong address, thereby somebody opening your PIN. A solution would be that staff will focus on that media campaign, encouraging electors to confirm that their voting details are correct on the voters list. One more note is that Elections Ontario is the body in charge of the municipal voters list now, and it's anticipated that it may be more accurate and up to date with having run a provincial election recently and voters changing their information or updating their information in order to vote in the provincial election. In closing, the financial considerations for the 2026 municipal election will be determined by the method chosen by council. Estimated costs are very much estimated costs at this time, and with one option being unknown due to not having contacted a vendor that can do both options. If council has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
What questions does council have? No? Or just council have comments?
Yeah, just a question about the vote by internet and telephone. Like, I think, it's high time we leverage some technology. I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
But I worry about not having some sort of transition from paper. Now, you mentioned, I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit more on, I think you mentioned that we would have like stations or something throughout
Yeah.
the township to, I don't know, educate or maybe help people through the voting process, or how would that look?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we wouldn't call them polling stations, but they essentially would be very similar to a polling station. There would be a device at the station with staff available to assist with any voting needs.
Okay.
So if Councillor Barnes came to me and said, I would like to vote, but I don't want to sit at the computer and I don't want to click around and pick whoever I want to vote for. The clerk has the authority to create a form and has the ability to have them fill out another form that allows myself to cast the ballot for them. We keep everything on file. I would show them here, this is your selection, and then I would submit through there. Yes, so the voter assisting center, I anticipate would be throughout the township, throughout the voting period.
Okay.
I know normally this is question time, but I'm just questions or comments, we'll do it right now. Because I think maybe this is something that may be relevant for us in making our decision. So if you got any comments or questions, just kind of throw it all out now. I'll go to Councillor
Mr. Mayor,
Banger.
I think maybe we've got some time to consider this, right?
Yeah.
So maybe have someone come in and explain, not that you're not doing a decent job, but of explaining it, but, you know, we might find out a little bit more information about it. And then we'll decide later on. I don't have a problem with the internet and phone, as far as I'm concerned, but
Councillor Young?
it would make the results certainly a lot faster. They've been faster, but it's been more expensive too. In recent years, I can remember back in the day when we were sitting here for about 5 hours waiting for all the results.
My first term, it was 11:30 before
Yeah.
the results,
I
because they
went home
counted.
and I missed my party.
Yeah, same thing happened to me. I come home and
Everybody gone home,
said to my wife, was it a good party? She said, yep, it was.
cleaned out all my goodies and
Yeah, exactly. Councillor Young?
Yeah, I think the internet telephone banking, or internet
Voting.
banking.
Voting.
Oh, man. Voting. Banking also is awesome, but the voting, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think I'm all for it. I think it's the most practical in 2026. I hope it encourages people to get out there, or no, you don't have to get out there, to vote a little bit more. We've seen the numbers are not great for voter turnout, so maybe this will help that because it is convenient. People can do it from wherever. People are busy. They don't like to make time for a lot of things, and it's been proven that voting is not one of those things. So I think it's a great initiative. I think the help centers are, I don't know if that's a normal practice, a typical practice across the board, but I think it's a great idea for people who are not overly comfortable, even just to, maybe they can still do it, but they just want some support, whatever that looks like as people are learning something new. People don't really like change always, but I think we have talked about that at this table often, that we need to kind of step forward in that change a little bit. So I think this, in my opinion, I'm all for it, but I mean, I don't mind waiting to hear information either.
Yep.
But that's my 2 thoughts.
I'll just go around the room and let everybody go.
I agree. I think it's a good idea as well. I like that idea. I also like that you have stations where seniors can come, be comfortable with it as well, and be relaxed and vote that way as well. So I'm for it as well. I like it, the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe see some demos from vendors and stuff. I think it's kind of nice to see what the residents are going to see, because we end up getting questions, or we end up getting the concerns about it. So yeah, just understanding it a little bit better and just getting some visibility to what it would all look like, I think would give everybody some comfort.
I know for me, I have a hard time. I struggled reading this, and I'm a little bit the old school. I definitely don't want to see us going back to counting the paper ballots. I think that's too far back. I do worry a little bit. I know this is to make the young people vote, but I'm worried that it may make the older ones not vote. So it's kind of that's my only concern of it. And I always found it ironic, though, when I go there, my name's on the ballot, and I know the person, and they still have to ask for my ID, and I find it kind of bizarre sitting there. I'm like, well, my name's right on there. But anyway, so I'm okay with it. I guess it's hard for me to go back to. I kind of struggle because personally for me, when I look at elections, not because I'm in municipal, this is really the most important thing day to day for anybody where they are, because especially in the smaller municipalities like ours, because chances are every single person in this township knows at least one of us, so we have to directly answer to them. Whereas the other one, the federal, provincial, they all follow what the party tells them what they got to do. So I find it very hard that when you see 25, 30%, and that's pretty standard, I think, right across the provinces, 30. If you get up anywhere near 40, I think you'd be rocking. I don't even know if there's anybody at 40% when it comes, municipal-wise. So I find it very frustrating that people don't. I'd love to do a poll on how many people call me that actually did vote when they called a complaint, because I'm sure the numbers would be down quite low. But anyway, I'm okay with it, with going with internet telephone. Just one question on that. So is that, so that I presume would be an automatic tabulation, like you would just be able to go boom and it's there. That's the one thing I think is really good. Like I say, the first term it was like hours and hours sitting down here waiting for them to count paper ballots somewhere else. The way we do it now, it's just a chip and boom, you got it. 20 minutes, we know that. So if this is similar to that, I'm probably okay. But I'm like council. Sure what? That thunder? Jeez, that's quite a rumble. I'm like council. I would like to let's have somebody come. Can they do a display for us when they come? Kind of like that'd be nice if we had them come and give us. We can maybe put it up here and watch it and see how it's done. So
I think the first time we do it, we really have to cater to those who wouldn't be comfortable.
Yeah.
And maybe as time goes on,
yeah.
I don't want to eliminate a whole bunch of voters just because.
No, I don't want to get rid of the old vote to get the young vote, or or vice versa. I want to.
Only the old people to vote for me, and they're dying off.
yeah. So that's kind of. But I think council's direction is let's have them come and give us a presentation, and we go from there. Does that sound fair? Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that report DC 2504 be received as information, and further that the decision regarding the implementation of a voting method for the 2026 municipal election be deferred to a subsequent meeting.
Okay. Mover and seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Banbury. Any other comments? All in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, and our next report is Denise, our Director of Finance, on could be our last grant for the year.
Good afternoon, Council. Yes, the report I have is an additional request for a council grant of $1,000 from the Drumbo Lions Club for a memorial bench in the Drumbo Park. We have already received requests for $9,000 of the regular grant funding, as well as one request for the $1,500 for the anniversary funding. So this would complete the regular funding. We still do have some outstanding requests for the anniversary funding that we are expecting right away.
Just before we go any farther, I just thinking about it in my head. We have 2 Drumbo Lions members here.
I was thinking the same.
Is that pecuniary interest with the 2 of them, with the 2 of us on that club?
I mean, really it's the obligation of the members to declare their own interest, but I'd say that as far as a direct pecuniary interest,
I know it's not.
Benefit financially.
I know I
Say we
don't.
don't benefit.
I know we don't benefit financially. I just want to make sure. I guess I should have thought of this before. I just happened when you started. I thought, I wonder if this is.
Yeah, that's what went through my head too. We could abstain from the vote.
Yeah,
We're supposed to.
I'm just. Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to take a couple-minute break, and we'll have a quick discussion about this before we go on any further. I just want to make sure, are we off? Okay? All right, we got that straightened out. You can go ahead if you
We're
weren't
looking for
finished.
direction from council for approval to allow the grant to the Drumbo Lions Club for the bench.
Okay? Any questions? Nope? Okay, go ahead.
Be it hereby resolved that report TR 2505 be received as information, and further that council grants the Drumbo Lions Club request for funding the Lions Memorial Bench in the Drumbo Park in the amount of $1,000.
Okay, can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Young, second by Councillor Barnes. Any comments? All in favor? And opposed, if any? And that's carried. So that's it for our grants, right? We're done, that's 10?
The regular grants are, like I
Okay.
said, I know the other groups are planning to do some activities for the 50th anniversary, but I don't have their applications yet, or
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Any reports from council members? Gotcha.
I'll just say, I know it probably will come up, but there was a busy weekend at the arena. They had the Hugh Hall
Yep.
event that was really good, put on, and the firefighter charity, you're
Yep.
sporting the jersey, it was also really good, so it's been a nice wrap-up to the hockey season,
Yep.
on to spring, hopefully. It was really well put on.
Yep. We actually have one more wrap-up for them. I haven't got 100% confirmed from them. I sent an email out. I'll maybe send another one. It was the under 13 rep team, I believe, that won the Good Deeds Cup at Plattsville. Going to do the Mayor of the Day thing again, exactly the same. I'm hoping to do that again next meeting. Here, I told them to roughly be here about 5:15. Hopefully we can, I'd like to see them here for the wrap-up of it if we're really close. I kind of like them being able to sit here, close the meeting, whatever. And the same thing, pick one person for Mayor of the Day. And I got it, as soon as they email me, I'll get you the thing for certificates. So that'll be planned for the next meeting that we have, the 16th, I believe? Yes, 16th. So, same thing, the minor hockey day was fantastic. I can't believe the crowd we had for the firefighters game. It literally was full from one end to the other. Reminded me back when the Warhol League used to do that every game all the way through it, all the way through. So that was good, but can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Nothing from council? Okay. Unfinished business, no motions, new business. We're going to close session.
Be it hereby resolved that council move into closed session under the authority of Section 239 of the Municipal Act at 5:19 PM to discuss A, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal employees, Section 239-2B, regarding personal matters.
Okay. Mover and seconder, please. Moved by Councilor Banbury, second by Councilor Young. All in favor? And opposed, if any? And that's carried. Okay. Okay, and you have something for us.
Be it hereby resolved that council does now adjourn from closed session and resume into open session at 6:25 PM and reports the following: that council provide direction to staff regarding report CAO 2508, directing staff to begin the recruitment process for a deputy clerk communications coordinator.
Okay, I'm going to mover and seconder. Moved by Councillor Demers, seconded by Councillor Young. Any comments? I guess not. All in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's unanimous. Okay, and we're right into bylaws.
Be it hereby resolved that the following bylaws be now read a first and second time. A, 2491-2025, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 1360-2002 as amended, ZN 12424. And B, 2492-2025, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council.
Okay, can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Banbury, second by Councillor Demers. All in favor? And opposed, if any, and that's carried. And third reading.
Be it hereby resolved that the following bylaws be now read a third and final time. A, 2491-2025, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 1360-2002 as amended, ZN 12424. And B, 2492-2025, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council.
Okay, can I move in a seconder? Moved by Councillor Barnes, seconded by Councillor Young. All in favor? Opposed, if any, and that's carried. Anything under other? And adjournment.
Whereas business before council has been completed at 6:27 PM, be it hereby resolved that council adjourn to meet again on Wednesday, April 16th, 2025 at 4 PM.
Okay, mover and seconder. Moved by Councillor Demers, second by Councillor Banbury. All in favor? And opposed, if any, and that's carried. A little bit longer meeting, and we'll let Sarah close.